This week on True Bloods, Deebs and I, like everyone else, are well and truly ready for the bye, but not before we laud our current crop in their phenomenal win over Richmond.
We speak to the faithful. We love social engagement here, but we're ready for the week off. Gives you more reason to listen to the potty. Let's go.
Jeez, this is the most one-eyed podcast.
It's what we're here to do. There is only one side in this competition. It's game-changing.
It's absolutely game-changing, Deeb.
Riddle me that,
Yeah,
Mads.
riddle me that, Deeble.
Do you remember? It's what we're here to do.
This is True Bloods, the number one independent Sydney Swans fan podcast, and we are back in the AFL Today Studio to talk about the win over the Tigers and everything else. Sydney Swans, joined as always by the one and only Big Clarko. Let's go, Clarko. How are you?
Yes.
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 Boys are back.
It's so good.
I tell you
so
what.
good. It just little things like that, Deeps. Little things like that make me very happy. I was down in the dumps. I was having a sook at the game, as you well know. You were sitting with me. I was in the AFL members,
Yes.
which was surprisingly quite nice, quite enjoyable. Thoroughly enjoyed that. Thank you, mate.
No worries.
But I was down in the dumps, but it's amazing what a W's in the chat, faithful, will do for you if you're feeling a little bit down. And that was just sensational. Great team effort. You look at the wins that we've had, Deeps. They're ones where there aren't that many passengers, or if you were going to use the word passenger, it would probably be too strong of a word.
Sure.
How are you, mate? Are you well?
Yes, I'm very well. Thanks
That's
for asking,
good.
Madison. I think the old adage rings true, Clarko, that a week is a long time in footy because...
Didn't we say?
We did. And look, we know it's the Tigers, very aware. But
Cognizant even.
Cognizant in the chat of that, right? Very cognizant that Richmond aren't a great side this year, right? But I think the difference that we can see in the way we play and when we have Millsy back, you got your Wixies back, you got a little bit of forward pressure in some smalls.
Huge.
You change it up. You're not playing Joel Hamling forward. You're not playing Peter Laddams forward, right? When we just start to get a bit more looking like a functional footy side, look at what happens on the scoreboard.
Well, and I mean, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
It's when you get a little bit of cattle back, a little bit of experience, it's amazing what happens.
Harry Cunningham.
Well, that's what
Harry Cunningham, Faith. I'm sorry. He should have been mentioned.
Hold on. I just want to, before we get into that, just call your jets.
Harry Cunningham.
We didn't talk enough about how important it was that he wasn't in our side, because structurally, aside from everything else, aside from the leadership, aside from the skills by foot, aside from just knowing how to stay calm under pressure, which is not something that, our makeshift team has been great at this year. Decision making. He allows Nick Blakey to go to another level.
That's right.
Having him there. And we saw Nick Blakey absolutely dominate coaches' votes. And we saw Harry Cunningham just bring back that little bit of class and a little bit of experience.
Harry Cunningham.
Harry Cunningham.
Oh,
So good, dude.
Geez, it was good. We even sort of got that chant going a little bit with the blokes in front of us who were great. They were great. See, all you need is a few of the cattle to come along
Just
with
a
you.
spark. Just a spark.
Just to come along with you for the experience too. Like Mads and I we went behind glass for, a good, I would say 40 to 50 minutes of that game.
Faithful Deebs got into, I'm not going to call it a verbal. I don't think it was a verbal, but it was early on in the game when we were probably a little bit not going as well as we'd hoped, and we were probably pretty nervous, but there was a big group of blokes behind us. I said, and Deebles was sort of going backwards and forwards, and then we figured out the guy having a crack at Deebs actually a St Kilda supporter. You loser. You absolute loser. But yeah, so we it was a rocky start to the game, Deebs.
It absolutely was, but it was We're having wins early on the verbal, I thought.
Yeah, correct.
I had
A few W's in the chat.
Yes, absolutely. It was W's in the chat. I had some of the Richmond supporters behind me eating out of my hand. They were on my side, and they were turning on the mate who was wearing a Tigers scarf, who was actually a St Kilda supporter. So that's when you know you're winning the battle.
That's right.
You're winning the fight and winning the battle.
Yes, that's right.
Per se,
Battle and the war.
Battle and the war, yes. Great crusades type stuff, But yes, no, it did that first sort of 15 to 20 minutes was a little bit concerning when, the Tigers are moving the ball fluently inside 50. You're finding your Tom Lynches.
Yep.
And they're hitting up at the ball. We're like, geez, we could be in here for a tough day. But after quarter time, the boys flicked the switch and really took control of that game, I thought.
Yeah, for sure. And this is where I just think guys like having Harry Cunningham and Lewis Malikan, Wixie back, our back six was so solid all day.
Lewis Malikan, Lewis Malikan.
No.
See, not having those two in the side is so important, and to your structures.
Yep.
And just and having the skipper Millsy coming back.
So this was the next one, Faithful. He is just slotted back in. I never could have dreamed, and perhaps it's because he hasn't played a lot of footy of late. And you forget how good he is and how good his skills are in close quarters, under pressure, how good his on-field leadership is.
Yeah.
Because he just steadies the ship. And he's a halfback for mine, Deebs.
For yours, Mads, absolutely. And look, that's what we always sort of thought he was. And he spent so many years of his apprenticeship back there before he did make that transition.
It doesn't mean he can't go back in there.
Yeah, exactly right. But that's what's required at the moment in this footy club. Is Millsy to go to halfback, make those decisions. But, yeah, it's the decision-making that sets him apart for mine, Mads.
Yeah, for yours, Deebs.
He's the cool, calm head. He went at 85%. He's had the 25 touches. And that's just what we need is guys making correct decisions. And then, that slight move of Biasy, who's probably got a slight reprieve with Roberts out sick, right? I think if Robbo played on the weekend, Biasy gets dropped.
Yes.
I think that's the way it goes. But with Robbo coming out sick, Biasy going on to a wing, we saw him having the ability to sort of use his leg a little bit further up the ground, which I thought was nice. And he got it in his hands 20-odd times,
Who made that call about Biasy?
I think it was the great Matt Donnelly.
The great Matt Donnelly.
So, Matty Donnelly will have to give you your flowers. and you were correct in, throwing up Biasy as a selection onto the wing because we saw that come to fruition on the weekend.
And another, not to harp on too much about Matt Donnelly, you want to give him his flowers, but you don't want to give him too many flowers.
If we pump him up too much, his head wouldn't be able to walk in and out this door. But go on with the Donalds.
Jimmy Jordan, though.
Yes.
Jimmy Jordan. Now, it's a tagger is a tagger. But when you give him something outside the midfield, this is where James Jordan really comes into the fore, as it shows you the multitude of technical skills that he has, because he's always been super dangerous in front of goal, Deebs. And to do that job on Nick Floston, one of their key distributors coming out of their back line when they're up and running, and then kick three himself, that's exactly what you want from him.
Would you say he flourishes
He flourished in that role,
he did.
Without a shadow of a doubt,
And
Deebs.
it was interesting. We were just sort of listening to Coxie's post-game presser, and he sort of gave the credit to Eamon Buchanan, one of the assistant coaches. And it's great that the assistances. Is that right?
Assistants.
The assistant coaches.
The assistants.
Yeah. Giving them I still don't think that sounds right.
It's like
the assistant coaches, giving them the ability to bring ideas into the fore, and Coxie actually implemented them on game day.
Correct.
I think that's really good to hear.
Well, it's about a collaborative environment, right? The things that Flanners was talking about last time he was here, collaboration and just making sure you're listening and people are giving opinions, because that's why you have assistant coaches, Deebles.
Do you think the the music made its way into the pre-game stuff and at training. And
I don't think we'll ever know. And if we do
won't
find
know.
out, I don't know if I'll be telling Flanners that because again, the head will get bigger than Donald's one.
That's right.
But that's what we want from Jimmy Jordan.
Yeah.
Right. You see what Ed Langdon does to Nick Dacos.
Yeah.
Right. Phenomenal job. And Jimmy Jordan can do similar. But when you're doing that to a halfback and you're hitting the scoreboard as well, that's exactly what you want. And that's it shows his value.
That's right. And it's horses for courses. It's when you've got the right opposition and the right play to do it to. It's not an every week thing. I don't want to see it implemented like a big change to the weekend, right? Take this as an example. When we used Aaron Francis and Joel Hamling against GWS as defensive roles, that got the job done against GWS.
Yep.
That was a key part to us winning. But I think that they stuck with that for way too long, and it took 4 to 5 weeks to get out of that mold, right?
Yeah.
And then we see it on the weekend. Heaney spends way more time forward. 80% of his possessions were front of center, right? He was the target. And it wasn't even necessarily the marking stuff. Like, how about the pick up, the fend, and the skill to hit on the left to Jimmy Jordan, right? If you've got a Joel Hamling there, he's simply not capable of that stuff.
Yes.
Right? And that's not necessarily in the air. That just shows ground level craft, right? And the difference that Heaney can make with Joel out of the side. And look, hopefully Margie, the Pirate is back after the bye. But I just want when we do have wins from the coach's box, I don't think it necessarily has to be implemented every week, but it's when you've got the right option to, you hit them between the eyes with it.
You're an underrated footy head, Deebs,
Thank
because
you.
that's exactly what happened. You come into the Essendon game, they tried to do effectively exactly the same thing that they did against Buckley and Taylor.
Yes.
And it just flat out didn't work because they're different players, right? You've got to be agile. You've got to be fluid, if you will, with the roles that you give people. But you mentioned Isaac Heaney before and that he got a great deal of his possessions forward of centre, and that's great. But I think they got the mix really right with Isaac Heaney on the weekend, and that's how he should be paid because he had 68% CBAs.
Correct.
So he's playing both roles and he's doing it very well. Right, and that's what you need. You need his toughness, you need his hardness in the middle, but you also need his prowess coming inside 50. Because if you remember, in that first quarter, and probably a little bit of the second quarter, our forward 50 entry was garbage. Absolutely garbage, especially considering they've got intercepting defenders that just eat that up. But we amended that, and you saw Heaney doing that more. You saw Chad doing that more. You saw even our Lizard, obviously, entering forward 50, and that's where we're getting better results.
Correct. And you're 100% bang on with Haynes, just hitting up those CBAs. His clearance game is so strong. We know that's strong. He's had 6 clearances, but then pushing forward of the ball when he needs to and being that creative option. And we know how he can be. Although I don't really think we saw it airily on the weekend, we know he's got that in his game. So
it wasn't really required.
It wasn't required the way the ball was moved. That's right. But it was just good to get the likes. I think Juzzy's been pretty good.
Yep.
Especially the month. You take out that week that he was suspended, I think he came back pretty well that game he did against Carlton. I thought he was really good. I think he's cleaned up his disposal a lot.
He has.
That was really average there for a sort of...
It had been very, very average.
For a good 3-week span, and I think he's sort of cleaned that up.
Yes.
He's in some pretty good form. I'm liking what Juzzy's doing. Listening back to some of the commentary, Jared Healy...
Yes, Jared. I'm aware of Jared Healy. Yes.
Yeah, I was just sort of going for clarification that he was the one commentating.
He was on Fox, I believe. Yes.
Correct. Yep. With Chad Warner and his clearance game at the moment, we did see that last week. It was the most inefficient game for someone to have over 19 disposals. I think he went at 21%.
20, it's between 20,
right?
yeah,
not
something like
great.
that.
And he I think that's what he sort of was building the conversation on, and maybe he needs to go by hand a little bit more in contest. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, because you've been seeing, and this was something I was praising him for, but you're seeing, when he does those little dinky kicks, when you can see that in years gone by, he'd probably have the shot, but he's often looking to pass off, and often he goes the option that it could be a handball, but instead he does a dinky kick. So maybe that's one opportunity that he could do the handball. But I don't know, his boot's so damaging. You kind of want him to kick it right.
You're right. He was more talking about the ones in the closing contest.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. He's been known to just like
dink it out.
Dink it out. And, we know when people play an inside mid-roll that your disposal efficiency's obviously going to take a hit because you do those stump kicks. But, I mean, I've noticed, with those, when he takes those sort of options, that's where he's a little bit inefficient by foot.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that's just – I think he's getting better and better.
Oh, yeah. I think it comes down to just a little bit of decision-making with Chad. I think you saw how low effectiveness he was last week. And just sort of, we know when the Chad is making his decisions and executing by skill, he's one of the most damaging players in the comp. So I think that's what Chad can get to work with for, that incremental uplift that we love here.
We love
True
incremental
Bloods.
uplift. I saw there was a top 25 list on AFL.com.au. He's still in the top 20.
Yeah.
That hasn't changed, but we just know how damaging he can be.
Yeah, exactly. And I think when he's been at such a level for a long period of time now, and that's when you get more critical, right? He's got when when they're flying and they're making the all these great decisions and executing by foot. When it's not quite happening as good as they can execute, you bring it to the fore.
That's absolutely right. Bring it to the fore, Deebs. Now, speaking of coming to the fore.
Yes.
Brodie Grundy was playing against a premiership ruckman and former Swan, Toby Nankervis, and he absolutely pantsed him, Deebs. Yep. He absolutely took him to the cleaners and did everything around the footy that you could possibly want as a ruckman. And I'm talking, this is Brodie Grundy at 2018 levels, Brodie Grundy. Like this is, there's youth and exuberance that you can see him running around with. He's clearly enjoying his time. He's clearly getting around really well. His body looks fit, although he looks gassed sometimes. I think that's just how he is. He sweats a lot, but he seems to be really enjoying his footy, and his performances are absolutely exemplary of that. And I couldn't want anything more out of him than I do at the moment, Deebs.
Yeah, he's definitely executing as well as he can execute. I think the body of work that he's put together in this 6 weeks, especially when we've been down a little bit, Brodie Grundy has, he's doing everything that he can.
Do you think he's leading our best and fairest?
I think he's got to be very close. If not him, who would be my question?
If not him, who? Do you remember?
I think I would have to be going Grundy, and then Heaney's been ultra consistent too. He's going to be up there. Lizard's been down on last year. Chad's still had a lot of out, pretty impressive games too. So, they're the regular features we sort of have in this side, Mads. But I think BG3, BG number 3? BG4?
4.
Yeah, BG4 is going all right.
BG4. You've been watching a bit of basketball, have you?
Yeah, big basketball guy.
Big Tyrese Halliburton
guy.
What
the Halliburton? What the Hallie? I'm huge on my basketball.
You're a big Indiana Pacers guy, are you?
Yeah. I love the Pacers, but I think OKC might get it done.
Very good.
That's good.
Any OKC players that you think are going okay at the moment?
They've got the MVP player going
SGA.
around. Shay? Is it
Shea Gilgeous.
Yeah, there you go. Shay. Yeah. Shout out, bro.
He's a big potty listener.
Yeah.
SGA.
That's right.
What did you make, and a question without notice, Braden Campbell?
Oh, if I'm being completely honest, didn't notice him too much, but I thought his defensive efforts were pretty good. And I think as a collective, we were pretty good defensively His tackles number is solid there.
Yeah.
But we do want to see BC being the damaging player, don't we?
We do. I think he's changed his role's been sort of changed a little bit where he's not as offensive.
Yes.
Probably a bit quieter, but I think by and large all those types of players had a pretty good day on the park.
Yeah, absolutely.
Especially pushing up from half back onto a wing. Thought him, Bice, Lloyd, Lizard, Cunningham. I thought they were all without absolutely starring. I thought they were pretty solid.
For sure. Now, question without notice for yourself.
Oh God.
We made comment on this during the game. What was the biggest improvement that we had made from the first 12 rounds to this week? We sat there and we said, this has been awesome. Complete turnaround to the other weeks.
I remember exactly having that conversation.
It was the tackles inside 50.
Keeping the ball, well, not only
Retention
that, but
inside
retention
50.
Inside 50.
Yeah.
And they were, to be fair, they were walking it out in the first quarter, but we completely resolved it at quarter time.
I think we had 20 tackles
Yep.
inside 50, which is a phenomenal number.
Well, we had no tackles in the first quarter for a significant amount of time.
Yeah.
And Rowie had no tackles.
That's right.
And then he proceeded to go berserk.
Have 14 of the best.
14 of the best.
And that's a key thing I think just the ideology and the ethos inside the boys' head on the weekend. We've had 75 tackles to Richmond's 59, and we've smoked them by 40 points.
So these are the key metrics, right?
That's right.
These are the key metrics to know. Hold on, where's your head at? Where's your confidence?
Where's your head at?
Basement Jacks?
Yeah, could well be.
Yep.
Ministry of Sound sort of areas, isn't it?
Yes, definitely.
Sure.
Should we get a year on that?
Yeah.
What year do you think?
Year check in the chat, please.
What year do you think where your head at? Where's your head at? Let's have a look.
Let's have a look. It's
What ministry was it on?
Ministry-
So it is Basement Jacks. I was right
well
about
done.
that.
Well done, Clarko. We're a big
2001.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right. That's old school.
That is old. That is old. But great tune, banger.
Great track.
Certified banger.
Certified banger.
Yeah, very good.
Could get a run at the True Bloods Christmas party.
Could well do.
At Belvolva. But yeah, that's where you go. Are you confident? Are you confident in the type of footy you're playing? Are you sort of it reeks of like, do you have your mojo back? You know, is this Bloods footy, Deebs? Don't get beaten by what you know, because that's something we haven't been doing.
Yeah,
as we rightly said, retaining the ball inside 50, and I think not having Papley makes that difficult as well.
For sure.
Jeez, we're missing a few.
But do we need faithful? Tell me if I'm right in saying this. Right
here we go.
We have to put. You got to be able to hang your hat more on not having your best players available. Well, I think this is just absolute proof, right? As soon as we've got 3 or 4 key main pillars of this side, and just look at the turnaround in performance. I know it's only Richmond, right? But like Noakesy in for Channel 7 with his thing, is he writing that article now? You know what I mean? You can take so much solace in when you've got your better players out there, you're not going to get the performances of Adelaide.
It was just too many at that stage. We know now, even with a couple back, it makes a massive difference.
Huge difference.
Millsy alone.
Yeah.
But I regret that we didn't focus enough on Harry Cunningham while he's been out and because we always used to laud him when he's playing. It's just one of those players that plays his role all the time. So it can be easy to not think of him as the first player when you go, oh, shit, we've just got done by 10 goals in 2 weeks. Maybe Harry Cunningham's the difference. I'm not saying he's the full difference.
No.
But it's just that experienced head when things aren't going your way. It's guys like Millsy and Cunningham back in that you go, shit, actually, we can actually turn this around mid-game when we don't have to get slaughtered.
That's right. And when you've got like guys waxing in that back six like Rampy and Cunny, right? And they've played over 200 games
Lloydie
together.
as well.
It's like they just know.
Yeah.
It's like it's a look. It's a look and they know.
Yep.
It's not a have to bring the boys in and sort this out. You know what I mean? It's just, yeah. You know, one thing I do wish, Mads, I really wish Tommy Hanley could find some form.
It's okay. I mean, but like any player, Deebs, he hasn't had the continuity.
But you can see it happening, him getting the old the handball out of this side, can't you? With sort of just after half time getting subbed
without
out.
a shadow of a doubt. Without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah. It's just tough. He's just one I really think there's a spot for him, even with Paps back.
It's a bloody hard position to play.
It is.
It's a hard position to impact.
Yeah.
You'd almost want to inject him a little bit.
Coming on type thing. He's had that a couple of times this year as well. But yeah. It's just good to be back on the winners list, wasn't it?
Phenomenal.
It's just been incredible.
It's just been incredible. It changes everything. And the perception and the AFL media.
Oh.
And the AFL media. What is it?
Go.
9 things we learned?
Yeah. Comes out.
I'm not even going to bring it up.
Have to.
Well, no, I'm not going to bring it up on the screen. But what did they say? They're like, well, we know that Sydney are no good unless their good players play well.
Correct.
Is effectively what they were saying.
So
that is just groundbreaking fucking journalism, isn't it? Oh, good players play well, and then we win.
And then when we win and they play well, we're too reliant on them.
Too reliant on them. It's too reliant. We're too reliant on our stars. Oh, screw yourself. But seriously, what do you have to do?
No, this is what has to happen according to the old 9 things that we know.
Yeah.
Right? So Swannies have got to win. Chad, Haynes, and Lizard simply are not allowed to play well.
They have to have under 10 disposals.
Under 10
each.
disposals, but Swans still have to win.
Tom Hanley has to kick 5. And Jake Lloyd's just, getting 40.
Yeah.
They just will not throw a bone.
They won't. They just love going the old little bit of negativity.
I did butcher that, but yeah, the phrase "too reliant" is just insane to me. It's like your stars are stars for a reason.
Yeah.
They lead the team, and other players jump on with them. That's how it works, and you get buy-in from everyone. Like that is just insanity, isn't it?
It is. But yeah,
jeez, but you're back on the winners list. We know it's against Richmond.
Yeah.
We've got a bye now. I think the bye comes at a really good time, obviously, for getting personnel back. And just for taking stock, it's like, okay, how many points are we on? What are we on, 20 points?
24 points?
Yeah.
20 points maybe?
Something like that.
5 wins.
Now, if you look at the season of Melbourne, right, and you look at our season, we're on the same amount of points as them. The way Melbourne's season has looks a lot better than ours.
Yeah.
Right? With some good stirring wins, with players back in form, your Clayton Oliver's back in form, Christian Petrarca, full team. We're even with them.
Yeah.
And they've been talking about how we're done, we're finished, we're going to fold the club and we're going to move to the Northern Territory.
Yeah.
So you take stock of that at the end of half a season of footy and go, okay, the boys are coming back. We're back on the winners list. We can really build from here. It's not too late. For sure.
And just quick shout out to Rowie as well with the job on Prestia
Massive.
after quarter time. I think Prestia had 13 to quarter time and then went on to him. So, yeah, big shout out to Rowie. 14 tackles. We love that from Rowie. So that was phenomenal. But we might leave it there and we'll come back with some social engagement.
Go, boys. Welcome back to True Bloods.
Yes. How good. The Bloods are back.
The boys are back. It's so good.
I reckon I can go with the hangover video if we beat
Port. Yep.
That gets another run, I think, for mine.
For yours.
Couldn't go with it on the weekend. It was only the Tigers.
I'm excited to see what we do if we can maintain, as we've always said, it's not about personnel, just being able to do the basics right. And I hope that's what they walk away with, going, we can tackle people. That's what we can do. We're actually, we can be a tough football side.
Yeah.
We can be.
For sure.
It's out there for us, Deebs.
It is. Has to be.
Now, but you know what? We've got to buy.
We've got the bye.
And I just wanted to, I think it's important post-game that we let people get their visceral minutes through.
Correct.
I think that's probably something that we had been missing out on, not having the voice notes.
First half of the season.
Yeah. And I think that's good for morale. We are a big morale pod. So maybe we should listen to a few of the post-game little what are they called?
Speak pipes.
Speak pipes. That's right.
We'll,
Got one there?
Yeah, we can start off with the great Ali Habak.
Oh, yes.
I think. We will go with him over on your speak pipes.
Let's go.
Deebs and Mads, it's Sunday today. Winners' piece, how bloody good was the Swannies, the mighty Swannies. Deebs and Mads and True Bloods. Finally, we get that win versus the Richmond Tigers.
That's right.
Now we get the bye. We get Gooden back, Euro Gooden, and the Tom Papley, the Papa. How you said in the past podcast, Deebs and Mads, True Bloods.
The Papa.
How bloody good today was. Winners pissed today. Let's all get hammered. Have a party for the win today. True Bloods, Deebs and Mads. Up the potty and up the Swannies. How bloody good, hey guys? All the True Bloods faithful. How bloody good today's win was on Sunday. How good. Up the Swannies and up the potty.
Yes, Ali.
Do you know what's cool?
Yep.
Not hearing Ali talk about trades.
Trade period.
Yeah.
We got more wins.
That's the first time I've heard him sort of be doing a voice note with a smile on his face.
Yes.
But, a very long time. So we love that, Ali. That's great. It's great news.
We've got Alex here.
Oh, that is pure relief.
It is.
It was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We've got Jamie from Geelong.
What's going on, guys? It's never as good and it's never as bad as it seems is quite possibly the most true thing I've heard the last couple of weeks. Mills and Cunningham coming back into the side cannot be understated. The leadership on the team was just so much better. So happy with Sheldrick and Campbell's progress. Up the Bloods, up the potty.
Yeah, very good.
Probably someone we didn't mention.
Who?
Sheldrick.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
I think he's lifting into that level, right? The more consistent AFL level where you got to be having your at least sort of look, I hate putting figure numbers on
20?
midfielders, right? But you're getting into those 17 to 20 areas. I think if you've had sub that and you're not a defensively minded player, I think you're probably not getting enough output to what you need.
Yep.
But I think he's becoming more consistent, and that's what we've seen with, a little bit of continuity in selection and his game.
Big continuity pod.
We are huge. Huge. We've got Phil from Picton.
Phil, filthy.
Filthy. He loves it. He'll be happy we're playing him.
Mads, Deebs, Polly and Faithful. It's Phil from Picton here, back by popular demand with a 60-second timer running on the old speak pipe. Keeping in mind that this is not a happy clapper pod, that was certainly exactly what we needed to see from the boys at a point where a loss would have planted the kiss of death on our 2025 campaign. In a game full of improved performances, simply must acknowledge the work of the Sultan of Scrunchy, the grey-bearded gazelle who's bloody tall as hell, Brodie Grundy, who's rampaging toward his first Bob Skilton medal with another goal of the round contender.
Yes.
Yes, there's still plenty to work on over the bye, but there's nothing more pleasing than restricting the Tigers to as much scoreboard impact as our man Deeble at a spelling bee. For mine, Matty Roberts, Jesse Detoli and Joel Armati should come in for Riley Bice, Tom Hanley and a pretty unlucky Aaron Francis for the game against Port, with Errol and Paps storming over the hill the following week. Don't we love that a week's a long time in footy? Up the potty, up the Bloods.
You don't mind a little drive by to myself, do you?
It's just it's bold.
Name something more true. You can't.
It's just bold. It was a bold drive by, and I'm all for people sort of dancing on the line of what's appropriate and what's not. But you have to take that how it is. Very funny.
It is very funny, mate.
And he's semi-bloody illiterate. And he's written a bestseller. And it's still selling.
It sold 250,000 copies. And it's still selling. And guess what? I'm writing another one. And I can't even bloody spell. Niche reference, that one.
Shouldn't be.
Shouldn't be.
If you're a fan of this pod.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Now, this is good gear, this one. Here we go.
Deebs, Clarko, Faithful, Jake from Redfern here.
Jakey.
I want you to close your eyes. Picture a field, a medieval battlefield perhaps. It's dawn. You fought a gallant rearguard action through the night to be sure, but you're losing. Glory and pain, the only thing left between you and the end, and then like a dart from the left foot of Riley Bice through the carnage slices the honk of a distant trumpet. You look over, cresting the tops of a distant hill. He's a man on a horse. The rising sun dancing off his armour just nice. There's a bluish golden hue to him. It's the golden boy. The left foot heard around the world. He's back. To his left is the angry little forward, and to his right is the pirate. Now open your eyes. Everything's going to be okay.
And do you know what? Everything is going to be okay.
I'll tell you what needs more legs, and I need more of the faithful to jump on board.
What's that?
The pirate.
Oh, I think it's getting legs.
It's gaining
organically.
legs.
I think it is organically. Like I don't think there even needs to be an official call out at this time.
Sure.
I think it's just building nicely. But who was that from Redfern?
That was Jakey.
Jakey. He's done a couple of really good ones now, and he keeps lifting the bar.
That's right.
It's about incremental uplift, and we love your work so far. I back you in for it to just keep coming a little bit better each time.
And
that was phenomenal.
That's a natural challenge out to the faithful as well. That's the creative. We're a big creativity pod here at True Bloods. You see some of the quality that we put out personally on the socials, right? You know it's high quality stuff. And when you're just taking the piss, like Jakey is there, it's great gear.
It's important to always take the piss. And we've sort of probably lost our way in terms of the manifestation side of things.
Yes.
And that is key manifestation areas.
That's right. Yeah, that was circa
22.
22 and sort of parts of 24 when we really needed it.
Yep.
Yes, you go back into your crystals, you go into your superstitions.
You get spiritual. You get spiritual
look,
when
I've got
required.
to put my hand up, Clarko. I'm the furthest person from spiritual.
Oh, really? You don't
Right?
say. You don't bloody say.
But you know what? The weekend, as it stood, what were we? 4-8?
Yeah.
Well, 4-8 pre-Richmond game, and I was like, I've got to change something up. I've been to 4 games this year, and I've seen 4 losses.
Hey, Deebs, what's the definition of insanity?
Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result.
Incremental uplift, faithful.
That's right.
Continue.
So I was like, I am going to change out scarves this week.
Yeah.
Come into the game.
You've gone the sort of Sarah Bell, Liz Brand type of thinking.
And I messaged them before the game. I said, this is what I'm doing, and they liked it.
Yeah, sure.
Right? So I knew it was on the right track, and I wore my True Bloods scarf to the game, and we won. So we're 1 for 1 with the True Bloods scarf. And I don't know if I can keep buying into that type of crap.
I was going to say you would have bashed this version of you a year ago, but I like it.
I can't buy into it, but
I think you've already
1 for 1.
I think you've already bought into it, to be honest. Well, so watch this space. Faithful, he could be selling crystals on social media soon.
Hey, can we get a True Bloods crystal and sell it on the Shopify?
Let's call On Stone.
On Stone. I reckon they might be able to sort us out. Very good. We've got Daz, big Daz from the WA Swans group.
He's the president.
He is. Big El Presidente.
Wow.
WA Swans, the #1 fan group in the nation last year. Get around the big fella. Dubs in the chat. Big Daz. Here we go.
G'day, boys. Daz from the WA Swans.
Dazzler.
How good a win was that? You got to say, after weeks of drinking the saltiness of loss, it's great to finally drink some winner's piss.
Yes.
And how sweet is that winner's piss when it's a win at the G? Finally, let's put a line through that venue. We've shown it doesn't scare us. 44 points over the Tigers at home. We can do it wherever we need to do it. The boys have just got to have the confidence and the faith in each other. Millsy, 25 touches. Good to see after him coming back from suspension. JJ, leading goal kicker with 3 goals. Who had that on their dance card? Definitely not me. And how's 20-foot tall Grundy playing like a 2-foot tall Papley down the line for a sneaky little goal of his own out of the pocket? Passages of play were linked well. The boys gelled as a team. No one looked out of place. I don't think anyone was a passenger. But for mine,
yours,
the biggest one was getting it in that forward 50. If it didn't result in a goal, we locked it in there. It didn't come waltzing straight back out.
Correct.
Stayed there and we gave it another crack. And that's what the boys just have to keep doing. Give it a crack week in, week out. They've got a week off now. They can duck to the beach with Coxie, take some doozies with them and talk about what they're going to do to Port Adelaide in a fortnight. Let's go, boys. We've got this. We may not end in the 8, but we're going to give it a good crack, see how we go. Up the Bloods, up the Potty, up the WA Swans, and calm the boys.
Yes, Dazza.
Very good.
Good to hear from you, Daz.
Yeah, well done,
We love
Daz.
that. We've got Josh
Martin.
Release the Lizard.
Release the lizard.
True Bloods, Josh here from Moorbark. Can I say there's been a bit of heat on Mills, but this week he rocked up with his mate Harry Cunningham and they had a pair of keys. Those keys were to a gate. They opened that gate and the lizard was released. Up the Bloods, up the Potty.
I like that.
See, short and sharp.
It doesn't need to be long to be GFC. It just
Bang.
doesn't.
Impact.
Yeah.
Social impact.
Yeah.
With Joshy Martin.
Yes, correct.
Very good. We went with hashtag Ask the Faithful. What's been the most underrated storyline of the Swans season so far? Could be a player, a coaching move, or something off field. Best answers to be featured on tonight's pod. Don't forget about the speak pipe.
Yeah, the speak pipe.
Very important.
Yeah, it's about the plot. It's about the plot, isn't it, Alessi? It's all about the plot. So what for yours, Deebs, what do you think the best storyline's been?
Oh, that's the first time I've read the question.
Yeah, that's right.
But
Thought you were pushing Penn in the office today, weren't you?
yeah, well, that's it, right. I was doing
He's
work.
not even
and
a locksmith anymore, Faithful. He's
I'm a
the
mouse
office.
mover, clicker, whatever you want to call it. It's easy stuff. Look how clean my hands are, Faithful. Still got a little cut on here from some work I did this morning, but look how clean they are, Faithful. I don't even know what I've been doing. I'm gonna go. I don't personally know.
Are you reading other people's answers, or is this from your head?
No, this is from you_dar_man07. Our great mate,
Yes.
you the man, and he's gone with something positive, which is great to see.
Does.
Grundy possibly leading our BNF.
Almost certainly.
So that's
that is not something. I honestly, cards on the table, hands up. I thought he was pretty cooked.
Cactus.
I thought he was pretty cooked. I was wrong.
Yep.
He's flying. But do you know the look in his eyes? He just seems youthful.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I think for mine,
For yours,
it would have to be what we touched on in the first seg, is how underrated our injuries just aren't spoken about in the manner that they should be.
yeah, sure.
It's
simply the weight of numbers, isn't it?
It's the weight of numbers, and we're having 4 or 5 changes every week. There's limited continuity in this side, but no injuries on the weekend, no suspensions on the weekend. The Pirate coming back in against Port Adelaide. It's all starting to turn, Faithful. And does that mean that it's gonna ending us being in the 8? I don't know. But what I can tell you is that it should be a lot more positive from now moving forward.
Yeah, I think it will. I think it'll be a lot more enjoyable to be a Sydney Swans supporter moving on forward from here. For mine,
For yours,
I think the Bicey story is really
very good. Yeah,
I think that's
mate. His first month. How
sensational.
enjoyable was that game against Freo? Was that his second game?
Yes,
I reckon that was his second.
Did he come on as sub the game before?
Something like that.
I
But
don't
just
know.
the impact
The
he had
Faithful's
to
memory
win.
is much better than ours,
Correct.
so they'll let us know.
But yeah, the impact that he's had has been fantastic.
It's been absolutely.
And
It's just been incredible.
It's been incredible, and I think it's great that he's had a slice of luck go his way with selection and everything to sort of, and then execute on the weekend. Great
Sometimes
story,
luck
Mads.
is half the battle. Wicks down back. Dave Bell.
Yep.
Wicks down back has just been an absolute lifesaver in so many aspects.
Yep.
It's rejuvenated his career. It's made him undroppable, effectively, at the moment. And I'm just thrilled for him. For him.
For sure. It's a good one. Good one. A lot of people going with Wixie down back. Mark Smith, author, he's gone with Rowi's tackling and BC's left peg.
Yes.
Knowing that, BC did grow up in that underground car park, kicking left foot chiselers.
Not only did he grow up, he was born there.
That's right.
And Jake Colin Maguire.
Yes.
There's only one, the story of the great, and his words not mine, the great Madison Clark, finally learning what the face of Joel Hamling looks like.
That was so true. That was a great gag that came to an end.
It was a good gag. But do you know what? In all seriousness, Joel Hamling's been a good story.
Good story, yeah.
The Aaron Francis Port Adelaide performance.
Yep.
One of the great plots of the season, coming in as sub and being one of the highest rated players on the ground.
For sure. Well, we might hear from Junior Burger.
Yeah, let's hear from Junior Burger.
Baxter, JB dialing in from Cairns again. I know this is a big numbers pod, so I just wanted to throw some numbers at you.
Please.
I had a bit of a look. For the last 3 seasons, if you include the one we're in right now, there have been 23 home and away games. Last year, you needed at least 13 dubs to scrape into the top 8. The year before that, 12 was enough. That was the year Adelaide got a bit screwed over by the goal umpire in the final rounds. You might recall that.
It was a behind.
Currently, of course, we've got 5 wins, and there's 10 to play after the bye. So if those last couple of years are anything to go by, we need to win another 7 or 8 of
We'll
those
finish
last
top
10.
4.
That's a bloody big ask, obviously, but I'm willing to say we've still got a pulse. We've just seen what Mills and Cunno did for the team. Imagine when Errol finally emerges over that hill like King Arthur.
That's right.
Not on horseback, but on the shoulders of Tom Papley. Not over yet, faithful. Let's go.
Love that.
Love that. That's good content. God, I'm so proud of the faithful.
I just love the faithful.
Yeah.
They're
Same.
Good. They're good.
Name a better supporter base of a fan pod.
You can't.
You can't.
That's right. We've got Billy.
Billy.
Big Bill.
G'day, boys.
Billy
from Geelong. We got it done, didn't we?
Yes.
We showed up. We got the 4 points. Now we got the bye.
The bye.
Okay. Are we going to make top 8?
Yes.
I'm hopeful. Why not? We're getting Goulden back. We're getting Papley back. We got all the boys back. Get Jesse Zatoli in. Get Riak Andrew at the back. Give him some games. That's what I want to see. I want to see our young boys, Zatoli, Andrew, and Bowman, play some games this year. Let's give it a go. Give it a crack. It was good seeing you boys at the Union after. Got some drinks. It was good. And then see how we go. Up the Bloods. Up the potty.
On you, Billy.
On you,
Back the
Bill.
Cats.
Very good. Well, we might hear he's mentioned a couple of VFL players.
Bowman, Datoli, and Riak Andrew.
Riak. We might hear from the great James Katz
Katsy!
with the VFL report. Here we go.
Mads, Deebs, faithful. Apologies, this afternoon I'm on the hop, as they say, in the car, and a little rush before Deebs would eventually say, Katsy, where's the bloody report? So here it is.
Here it is.
Just a quick little summary of the happenings. 5-point loss at Home Park Recreational Reserve in Beaconsfield, if you don't mind, where the machete must hold sway. The boys went down, unfortunately, in fighting fashion, and finally, hallelujah, Will Green best on ground. Bit of scoreboard impact, really showing something. Followed closely by Nicky Shipley and Benny Patton getting plenty of the pill with 30 possessions. Ollie Florent busy, but busy enough to get back in, I don't know. Caden Cleary got around the ground a bit, couldn't get on the scoreboard, but racked up plenty of touches, not a lot of impact. Indy Kirk and Paddy Snell continue to bring something to the footy, and their progress is building slightly. Sid Mitchell, unfortunately, got dropped. A little harsh, I'd say. And just languishing in the middle there. Jack Buller and Mr. Bowman, albeit a couple of goals for young Ned, so I'm pretty proud of that fact.
Good on
Jeffrey
him.
Buller couldn't get in front of it, unfortunately. So an honourable loss, a bit of effort, and now we're in the mid-season break, and not a moment too soon. Stick fat, fellas. Up the bloody.
The bloody.
Yeah, that is 100% intentional.
That's
too.
100% deliberate. Up the bloody. I thought he had a stroke for a second.
I was like, has he just mixed the two?
Good for Bowman.
Yes.
Bowman.
Big Ned.
Bowman.
Good, mate. I'm telling you, a pre-season and a few more games of AFL.
Let's get some Bowman.
Let's get some Bowman.
There's a big Jesse Detoli fan club.
Yeah, he sold a nice little bit of candy and kicked a nice goal, which has a lot of people excited.
Which has Zano awake at night.
Excited. That's right. So, when my head hits the pillow at night, sometimes it's, did I book that job in? Did I cut those keys for the next job? And Zano's like, Jesse Detoli goals. And
Bowman.
And Bowman.
Bowman. Do you reckon sometimes Zano just doesn't sleep at all? He's just watching VFL tape.
The knowledge of the VFL is, second. I reckon you got your Catsies and your Zanos.
Who's your gold standard? Is it Zano or Catsie?
Oh, yeah. It's like picking your favourite child, Mads. I can't go and do that. I can't do that.
Huh? Oh shit! If
I think Zano comes from a big research background and does his work on the kids, that there's not too much out there in the general means.
Zano constantly impresses me. I'll get a message from him, and it'll just be something fucked that I will never have thought of.
Yeah.
He is a very impressive person.
Yeah, and Catsie's a great one to talk through issues with, and just get a.
No, he is pragmaticthinking.com.
That's right.
There's few better to do it than Catsie.
Now, Big Clarko,
yes.
The AFLW is starting to kick off.
Yes.
The girls are into their pre-season.
Yes.
They've ran their 1.5Kers.
Yes.
We saw them training out there on the tramway. We watched them going around doing a bit of midfield work, all the girls out there.
That's
so
right.
I think we've got a bit of an update from
Polster,
the other one and only Polly Porridge. Here we go.
What a difference a week in footy makes. And while our boys are getting a well-deserved week off, our girls are training down the house with 65 days till the first bounce, and all major injuries are finally starting to look like a distant bad memory. But most importantly, our fixture was released a couple weeks ago, so I thought I'd share a couple highlights for mine.
For yours.
We're going all over the country this season: Gold Coast, Melbourne, Geelong, Adelaide, Tassie, and of course our two home grounds, North Sydney Oval and Henson Park, and a quick trip up to Coast to round out the season, hopefully giving all areas of the widespread faithful a chance to see our girls in action. Very sorry to the Perth faithful. But we start off Friday night at North Sydney Oval against the Tigers. They absolutely smacked us last year in Coffs, but the smaller North Sydney Oval suits us a hell of a lot more. And our boys are playing on Sunday, so what an ideal trip. What an ideal weekend to make a trip up to Mykonos for those non-Sydney faithful.
Yes.
There are 3 games in Victoria against the Cats, Pies and D's. With us never having played the D's before, these are 3 games and are not to miss. But for mine, the game I look forward to the most is our one Saturday afternoon game at Henson Park against West Coast. We smoked them last year and I reckon we'll do it again. But there is simply no other place I'd rather be than sinking doozies on the hill. I'll bring more updates as we get closer to the season. It's going to be a big one. Go girls, up the potty.
Go girls.
Go girls. Yes.
Good
Looking
poll.
forward to that. We will commit here on this podcast. We will get to a game in Sydney for the girls.
Have to.
Simply have to. Can you imagine the True Bloods crew
on the hill?
Out on the hill.
At Henson Park.
Bit of sun. Weather's starting to warm up, Mads.
Yes.
I know it's a bit cold out there for you right now, but, it's, and Sydney didn't quite turn it on for me. Let's have a sook type vibes.
I thought it was really nice. I thought it was sunny.
Sunny vibes. But no, we're going to commit to getting out there, out on the hill, having some doozies. That's out there for us.
It has to be out there for us.
Has to be. But Does that just about wrap up the socials, Mads?
I think so, Deebs. I think so. Stick fat, faithful, and keep the content coming.
Keep the content coming. Engage with us. We're a big engagement pod. We love it. And yeah, we'll crack back in. I think we've only got the tips to go, so
That's right.
We'll end it here and we'll crack back in.
Do you know what I miss, Deebs?
What's that, Mads?
I miss those authentic American-style pickles from my times in the States.
Well, Mads, don't get yourself in a pickle. Delicious are sponsoring the pod this month. They are a proudly family-owned and run business committed to bringing you the best-tasting pickles for your picnic, platters, and pantries. The owner, Jimmy, is a huge Bloods guy.
Yeah, but are they Australian-made ingredients, Deebs?
Yes, Mads.
Are they seriously crunchy?
Absolutely, Mads.
Are they sneakily healthy and simply delicious?
Yes, they are.
Well, Deebs, that sounds bloody sensational. Head on over to delicious.com.au and get yourself some pickles.
Welcome back to True Bloods. Clarko.
Deebles.
Good to be back. Good to have the week off too. I think we're in need of it.
We're chooked as well,
When we have the old Sydney trip, which tends to take it out of us, and then we back it up into a Saturday afternoon session at the MCG, I probably need the week off.
It's so funny that it could easily not take it out of us.
Yes.
It's just our personalities that take
But
it out.
there's not many things we love more
There's
than the
no-
Swannies,
nothing
right? And
more.
they just bring the best out of it, and especially when we have dubs and you want the winner's piss, which we haven't had. I haven't had all year. It's been Loose's piss all year. And when I simply get the nice taste on my tongue of that winner's piss, I just tend to get excited, Clarko.
Yes, Deebles. And as is your want.
Yeah. So look, the
But
bye
we're-
just comes at a good time, right?
Comes at a good time for everyone.
It does. It does. Now, we've got Jimmy Pickles. Delicious.
Deebs.
Dillylicious or delicious?
Yeah,
I reckon Jimmy secretly likes Dillylicious.
Yeah, I reckon Delicious sounds good, but far be it from us to go changing the names of our sponsors' businesses. So we'd go with Delicious.
Delicious.
But you know what, Deebs, you said there's nothing else we like more than the Sydney Swans. Well, it's close second is the American-style pickles from Delicious.
Absolutely. And we've got a deal for the faithful.
Have we got a deal for you?
Jump onto the Delicious website. The link will be in the bio. True Bloods 20 for 20% off all orders.
Hey, what's better than pickles? Cheaper pickles.
20% off your pickles. Like, simply cannot miss out on that. You know what I love, Mads?
What do you love?
I love American-style pickles. And you simply must get them. Link in the bio. Let's go. True Bloods 20 at checkout. If you know what?
What are you throwing in?
If you purchase...
Deebles has gone mad. Deebles has gone mad.
The first person to purchase over $60 of pickles, you get a free True Blood scarf.
Wow.
$60 of
God.
pickles.
Are there still some floating around?
Mate,
Are there?
well, it's not what you know, it's who you know.
Yeah,
Clarko,
sure.
And I know that there's a few floating around.
Sure.
So there's a deal for the faithful. If you buy over 60, screenshot it, there's a scarf out there for you.
Is it the first person or is this
First.
So you've
It's
got
a
to be
once-off only.
You've got to
Gotta
be
be
specific
specific.
about these sort of
First
things.
person into the DMs.
We could have a controversy on our hands, Alessi. People lining up for their free scarf. Delicious has gone absolutely gangbusters in the month of June, and Deebles doesn't have any scarves left. That's an issue.
So the first person out there, it might just take me a little while to read the DMs too. So make sure you get your orders in. Oh, very good.
The Clavalley Hotel.
Clavalley
Get down to the Clavalley.
in Sydney.
God, tell you what, they're doing live podcasts and stuff there now. I saw the Besties podcast. I believe that's Jackie O.
Yes, big Jack.
Clavalley was absolutely pumping for that. So get down to the Clavalley.
You know what's my favourite thing about the Clavalley Hotel?
The biggest TV screen in the Southern Hemisphere, David.
Correct. Closely followed by
That beer garden.
the beer garden's very good too.
Yeah, sure.
Right?
But this is above both of them.
It's above. Nah, the TV screen's the best thing there. You're
Sure,
right.
sure.
Closely under, it's better than the beer garden, is the schnitzel.
Yeah, you like the schnitty.
The schnitzel is a ripper down there.
The
bit
New
of gravy.
South Welshmen love their schnitties.
They do.
And if you can get a good schnitty, That's probably a good sign that your establishment is reasonably good. So
That's
get
right.
down to the Clovelly. Go and see Megs.
Megs and the team, they do a fantastic.
Megs of the team.
Megs in the team. Lee in the team. Lee in the service team. That's right, Mads. There's just jokes about everything on this podcast, isn't there?
Jesus.
It's good time.
Lord save us.
Good
Now,
time,
did
Mads.
you watch Queen's birthday?
I did.
King's birthday? You know what? I respect him. I respect Collingwood. That supporter base is truly insane.
Talk me through it, buddy.
They just the speaking to people that are Collingwood supporters, just the inability to see it any other way than Nick Dacos should have gotten more free kicks. Nick Dacos should have gotten more free kicks. You know, every single decision, if it goes against them, it's wrong.
Yeah.
And every single decision that goes their way, it's right.
Yeah.
I feel like Sydney supporters and a lot of other supporters are pretty good when it comes to, you know, how often did you and I stand up and go, that's bullshit?
Yeah, well, that's
Yeah,
basically
you know.
what our discussions were with the Richmond faithful behind us.
Yeah.
You
And
know,
Richmond is shocking at that too.
The current climate.
Yeah,
with
the
umpiring.
current climate, Deebs kept going. You know, in the current climate, that's a free kick.
See, I was just in robust discussions with the opposition faithful.
That's
when
right.
It was W's in the chat for how my verbal altercations were
Yeah,
going.
you were going well, but it's such a weird way to be.
It is.
Like they would be happier if they just won by 40 goals each week. W's in the chat.
No. What are Collingwood supporters? Starts with W.
Wussy boys.
That's right.
Yes. They absolutely are. Nick Dacos with the tears welling up in his eyes. Have you ever seen a man more unable to take a tag in your life? God, he sooks it up. He's the best player in the league. Don't get me wrong. Best player in the league. Absolute sook. Wussy boy. Wussy boy. Clip that up.
Clip that up.
Come at me.
All right, I'm going to break this up with some tips.
Sure.
There are some games going on this week, even though ours aren't going. With Thursday night, we've got St Kilda and the Doggies at Marvel.
Dogs.
Dogs for mine.
For yours.
Friday night, Hawks and the Adelaide Crows bounce back nicely. The Hawks did.
Jeez.
Down at Tassie, Friday night. Odd.
Oh, Hawks in Tassie.
Think so.
Completely different team to the Hawks that were dominant in Tassie, but just something
Hawks
about
in
it
Tassie.
says Hawks.
Sure. Saturday afternoon, Lions and GWS at the Gabba.
Lions.
MCG.
Although they're not on fire at the moment.
No, they're not.
What about you? What do you think?
GWS aren't going any good.
No, they're not.
So Lions for mine.
Lions for yours.
We have Geelong and Essendon
Geelong.
at the Geelong. Saturday night, North and Freo at Optus Stadium. So they've sold another game in WA. They must be staying over there, Bunbury to WA, you would assume.
Are the team on the left the home team?
Correct.
Yeah, right. That's which is true. So God, can we buy a home game off them?
Yeah.
It's a fire sale. Everything must go.
So, grand sale.
God, sir.
Get down to Fudo Sagrai. We got the deals for you. True Brands 20 for your delicious pickles. Franco Gozzo. Oh, my God.
We need to buy more. than
We
anyone.
need the buy. Sunday.
Port Adelaide and Melbourne.
Correct.
Do you know what?
Jeez.
Melbourne.
I think they're on the improve.
Yeah,
they
big
were pretty
time.
good
They were
last
good.
week.
They were really good.
Smacked us, and then were very good against the Pies.
Why don't I hate them as much as I used to?
No, you do.
I don't think I do.
Dude, you do.
I don't think I do.
Maybe
I don't think I do.
Maybe it's no ties to the club in any capacity. Maybe that's why it's just
Yeah.
alleviated
Maybe.
you.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm just
Alleviated.
Is
Yeah.
that the right word?
Beautiful. I don't think it's a word at all, but I like it.
Alleviated.
Relieved.
Alessi? Not a word? No comment? So someone Google define me. Google defines in the chat.
Alleviate, you reckon?
Yeah, like it's
Alleviate? Alleviate?
It's left you of the
Yeah,
responsibility.
alleviate it.
I reckon, yeah, and you take the plural away?
No.
Alleviate.
No, buddy.
Yeah, I know. I know. I'm just trying to build the case. I know. Sunday.
You're just the funniest bloke. You're just the funniest bloke.
Sunday, Grenache Hour, West Coast and Carlton.
Oh, you know what? SEN on the Fireball on the Monday could be very good listening if the West Coast are able to do in Carlton.
Yeah, they could.
But they probably won't.
I don't think so. That wasn't that a bad game. Kangas
Cooked.
Just one other thing to push, Mads. The club having a big pre-game before the St Kilda game.
Barry Hall,
Leo Barry. This is Sunday the 13th. It's our Sunday the 13th of July. So it's our last game in Melbourne.
God, that feels like it's going to be a live Grenache Hour.
It could well be. You better keep the microphone away from us because we will jump on there.
Don't know what I'd be doing with a microwave, but
no, we might just set our halftime pipe. We might have to hit that up.
That sounds like a great afternoon.
That's right. So that's from 12 o'clock. Barry Hall talking. Yeah, Leo Barry's You Stars
Are
talking.
there food and drinks?
Food and drinks included.
Wow.
So we might have a link in the bio as well.
Link in bio.
It will be under Delicious because they are number one in our hearts, number one in the charts. Delicious. True Bloods 20. Check out. You can't forget that one, faithful. Franco Godza. Don't get me going again, Mads. And then we're going to have the pre-game event for the Swannies under that. That link will be in the bio as well. So we'll be there. I think producer Alex is going to come. We'll be mingling with the faithful.
Yeah, we'll be around.
So get down. It's always good to say good day.
That sounds like a great afternoon.
Yeah, that's in the Amphora room at Etihad.
Fantastic.
Sounds fancy. Sounds high quality.
Jeez.
Get down, faithful.
I'm excited.
Links in the chat. Oh, Mads.
This has been True Bloods.
This has been True Bloods. I don't even know anymore, Mads. We need the break.
You don't know whether you're Arthur or Martha.
Correct.
What the
this
hell?
has been True Bloods. What the helly? Heliante? Heliburton? Let's wrap this thing up, Mads. This has been True Bloods. We are the number one independent Sydney Swans fan podcast. We're number one in your hearts and number one on the charts. We're speaking words of wisdom. After potty.